Have you ever noticed how quickly someone forms an impression of you? For women, this happens in less than 10 seconds. And it isn't about your looks, your income, or even a clever line you've memorized. It's far subtler and far more powerful than that. In those first few seconds, her brain is scanning not just your words, but the emotional signals behind them. Most men unknowingly say things every day that weaken attraction. A simple sentence intended to be polite or charming can instead signal hesitation or uncertainty. And uncertainty is one of the fastest ways to make a woman's interest fade, even before she consciously realizes it. The good news is that the opposite is also true. A small change in how you speak can completely shift the emotional energy of an interaction. Suddenly, she feels more engaged, more curious, even subtly drawn toward you. This isn't about magic words. It's about the emotional meaning behind what you say. In this guide, we'll explore how tiny adjustments in your communication can create clarity, confidence, and connection, turning ordinary conversations into powerful moments of attraction that she won't forget. When a woman talks to a man, her brain is doing far more than simply listening to his words. It is constantly analyzing the emotional meaning behind every sentence, gesture, and tone of voice. Subconsciously, she asks questions like, is he confident? Is he grounded? Does he know what he wants? Can I feel safe around him? This process happens almost instantly. Within minutes, her brain begins forming an emotional impression that is difficult to change later. That's why two men can say almost the same thing, yet one leaves a lasting impression while the other fades from her mind. It isn't about charm or wit, it's about emotional signals. Women are wired to detect certainty and stability. These signals indicate a man who is comfortable in his own skin and knows his direction in life. Conversely, hesitation, over politeness, or seeking approval quietly communicates uncertainty. Even small inconsistencies between words, tone, and body language can be noticed subconsciously, reducing attraction before she even consciously realizes it. Understanding this psychology is crucial. Attraction isn't built on superficial gestures or clever lines, it's built on emotional resonance. The way you communicate, the confidence behind your words, and the presence you project all send subtle signals that her brain interprets instantly. Mastering this unseen layer of communication is the first step to creating powerful, memorable connections. Many men believe that attraction is about being funny, clever, or showing off status. They think making a woman laugh or impressing her with achievements is the key. While these things can be enjoyable, they rarely create lasting emotional impact. The truth is far subtler. Women respond most strongly to certainty, not charm. Certainty communicates stability. Stability signals emotional safety, and emotional safety allows a woman's nervous system to relax. When she feels relaxed, connection grows naturally. In contrast, hesitation or indecision communicates the opposite: a lack of direction, insecurity, or the need for approval. These subtle signals reduce attraction, often without either party noticing. Many men unknowingly sabotage themselves by softening their intentions. They say things like, maybe we could hang out sometime, or I don't know, what do you feel like doing? On the surface, these phrases seem polite or considerate, but psychologically, they communicate hesitation. When a man expresses his desires clearly and calmly, without forcing or dominating, he communicates direction. Direction signals confidence and emotional presence, both of which are deeply attractive. Instead of trying to impress, he shows that he knows what he wants and is comfortable expressing it. In short, charm can be fleeting, but certainty creates emotional resonance. Women remember how a man makes them feel far more than what he says. The ability to project calm, grounded certainty is one of the fastest ways to increase attraction and leave a lasting impression. There's one subtle trap that most men fall into without realizing it. Certain everyday phrases quietly reduce attraction. They sound polite, considerate, even charming, but to a woman's subconscious, they signal hesitation and uncertainty. Phrases like, maybe we could hang out sometime? I don't know, what do you feel like doing? On the surface, these seem harmless. They're meant to be polite or avoid pressure. But emotionally, they communicate indecision and a need for approval. The woman's brain picks up on this instantly, creating subtle doubts about the man's confidence and direction. Attraction thrives on clarity and emotional security. Hesitation undermines both. When a man softens his intentions or frames his desires as a question, he unintentionally signals that he's unsure of himself or dependent on her decision. The good news is that these phrases are easy to replace. By swapping uncertainty for directness, even slightly, a man can transform the emotional dynamic of a conversation. What once weakened attraction now becomes magnetic. In the next section, we'll explore how to replace these weak phrases with statements that communicate clarity, confidence, and calm intent without ever feeling pushy or overbearing.
The difference between weakening and increasing attraction often comes down to one simple shift: the way you express your intentions. Instead of asking for permission or sounding unsure, you communicate your desires clearly and calmly. Consider the difference. Weak: maybe we could hang out sometime. Magnetic: I want to take you out for coffee this weekend. Both sentences convey the same basic idea, but the emotional signals are completely different. The first asks for approval and communicates hesitation. The second communicates direction, clarity, and confidence without being aggressive. Clarity is magnetic because it signals emotional stability. When a man knows what he wants and expresses it calmly, it sends a subtle message: I am grounded, I am comfortable, I am present. This shifts the dynamic of the interaction. Instead of chasing approval, he becomes someone with a clear presence, someone who others naturally want to engage with. It's important to note that this doesn't mean being forceful or controlling. The goal isn't to dominate the conversation, but to speak with intention. Calm, clear communication demonstrates confidence, reduces uncertainty, and encourages genuine engagement. Small changes like this may seem minor, but they carry enormous psychological weight. When you express your intentions with clarity and authenticity, you create a foundation of trust, emotional safety, and intrigue, the essential ingredients for lasting attraction. Many men believe that attraction is built on compliments about appearance. You're beautiful, you look amazing, or you're gorgeous are common phrases. While these words may be pleasant, they are predictable and often forgettable. Women hear them constantly. True emotional impact comes not from surface-level flattery, but from meaningful recognition. Recognition involves noticing something unique about her, her perspective, her thought process, or the way she approaches life. For example, instead of commenting on appearance, you might say, I really enjoyed talking to you. I appreciate the way you think about things. I like how you notice details others often overlook. These statements acknowledge her mind and personality, not just her looks. This type of recognition creates emotional resonance because it shows that you are genuinely paying attention and valuing her uniqueness. When a woman feels both desired and appreciated, two powerful emotional signals combine. Interest: she senses you are drawn to her. Comfort: she feels seen, understood, and emotionally safe. The combination of interest and comfort naturally grows attraction. Unlike generic compliments, recognition leaves a lasting impression because it communicates attentiveness, understanding, and appreciation. By shifting your focus from superficial praise to thoughtful acknowledgement, you create deeper connection and emotional impact. This approach not only enhances attraction, but also sets the stage for meaningful, memorable interactions.
Saying the right words is only part of the equation. The emotional impact of what you say depends equally on how you say it. Congruence, the alignment of words, tone, and body language, is what makes communication believable and magnetic. A mismatch between what you say and how you say it is immediately detectable, even if the woman isn't consciously aware of it. For example, telling her confidently, I want to see you again, while speaking in a hesitant or shaky tone, undermines the message. Her subconscious detects the inconsistency, which reduces attraction. Presence plays a central role in congruence. Being fully present means you are engaged in the moment, not distracted, performing, or overthinking your words. A man with presence communicates confidence effortlessly. His tone is relaxed, his body language is grounded, and his words carry emotional weight. When words, tone, and presence align, interactions feel natural, effortless, and emotionally resonant. The conversation becomes memorable not because of clever lines, but because of the calm, authentic energy he brings. This alignment also signals emotional stability. Women are subconsciously attracted to men who appear steady, consistent, and secure. It creates a sense of safety, which allows deeper connection and emotional openness. In essence, congruence transforms ordinary sentences into powerful signals. With the right words delivered with authenticity and presence, you communicate confidence, clarity, and emotional intelligence, all of which are far more attractive than charm alone. Attraction isn't just about what you say or how you say it, it's also about when you say it. Timing gives words emotional weight and creates moments that stick in her memory. Psychologists call these moments emotional anchors, instances during an interaction that feel slightly different, meaningful, or memorable. For example, consider the end of a conversation. Most interactions fade into forgettable small talk, but a short, clear, and sincere statement at the right moment can leave a lasting impression. I really enjoyed talking to you. I'd love to see you again. It's simple, direct, and honest. The words themselves are not extraordinary, but the timing amplifies their impact. By delivering them at a moment when she is receptive, just as the interaction is ending, you create an emotional memory that stays with her. Emotional anchors work because women rarely remember every word a man says. They remember how they felt. If a conversation made her feel seen, understood, and relaxed, that emotional memory lingers. Days later, she may not recall all the details, but the feeling of authenticity, clarity, and presence associated with you will remain. Strategically timed statements, paired with genuine intention and congruence, turn ordinary interactions into memorable experiences that naturally enhance attraction. Clarity and confidence aren't enough on their own, they must be expressed naturally. Speaking naturally means communicating with calm intention, without forcing charm or trying too hard to impress. When your words feel authentic, they carry far more emotional weight. Avoid rehearsed lines or phrases that feel mechanical. Instead, focus on being fully present in the conversation. Speak with a relaxed tone, maintain gentle eye contact, and allow pauses when appropriate. These subtle cues communicate comfort, self-assurance, and emotional stability. Natural speech also allows your personality to shine through. Share genuine observations, express thoughtful appreciation, and state your intentions clearly, but do so in a way that feels effortless. For example, I enjoyed our conversation. You have a really unique perspective. I'd love to see you again this weekend. Notice that these sentences aren't exaggerated or over the top. They're simple, sincere, and intentional. The combination of clarity, recognition, and calm presence communicates confidence far more effectively than trying to be overly clever, witty, or charming. Ultimately, speaking naturally is about letting your emotional signals align with your words. When your voice, tone, and presence all reflect the same message, attraction grows effortlessly, and the conversation leaves a lasting, positive impression. Even when men say the right words, they often unknowingly undermine attraction through subtle mistakes. One of the most common errors is hesitation, pausing too long before speaking or phrasing desires as questions. This communicates uncertainty and reduces the emotional impact of their words. Another frequent mistake is distraction. Checking a phone, scanning the room, or letting your attention drift signals a lack of presence. Women subconsciously notice, and even if they don't comment, it weakens connection and attraction. Over-politeness is another subtle trap. Statements intended to be considerate, like, I don't want to bother you, but maybe, often come across as lacking direction or confidence. Similarly, trying too hard to impress through humor, status, or clever lines can backfire. Predictable patterns and performative energy reduce curiosity and make interactions feel ordinary. Finally, Lack of presence is a major factor. Even with perfect words, a man who is tense, distracted, or emotionally inconsistent fails to create resonance. Presence, calm, grounded, and fully engaged, amplifies words and emotional signals, making interactions memorable. By avoiding hesitation, distraction, over-politeness, and performative energy, men can significantly improve the impact of their communication. Attention to these subtle details ensures that words, tone, and presence all work together to create genuine attraction.